Okay, thank you for joining me, and thank you. Welcome to this channel. My name is Greg. If this is the first time to this channel, what we're doing is we're studying the English Gematria Sumerian base 6 in correspondence to geometry, and of course the geometry applies to the geo, or the earth. So what you're looking at here is not only a 360-degree circle, but you're also looking at earth and sky in terms of the azimutal mapping system. So what we're finding, or what I'm finding through my study and research, is that there are some very interesting phenomenal corresponding harmonic congruences, and it leads us to think that there is a higher, greater mind in, say, in the mix. And so what I'm getting at is that I feel it is impossible for the human to create this corresponding dynamic harmonic system on his own without this what seems to me is that there is a flow which man is not creating by his intelligence alone, but what he is doing rather is he is uncovering say a harmonic constant of above and below where they meet, and there is a mind that is like a marriage of, say, heaven and earth, or I could say it's my heart and my mind. And so in that intuition, I can say create this flute with what I call givenness. And that givenness is a say an inheritance of a knowing that's a state and quality of being. It's where it's like I have this intuitive sense where, I feel something is right, and then I go and I begin to uncover it, and then I find, wow, it was right. I just had to shape it and hone it. And that's what I feel we're doing through research and development. So eventually we will come down to the correct distances, and I'm using this flute here as a cross-disciplinary measure of correspondence, where it's like these holes were through trial and error were placed, and then through, say, measurements of refinement, we are tuning and honing into the proper, say, form, or the archetypal substrate that pre-exists. It's kind of like a rose is beautiful, and it just becomes its beautiful self because there's an underlying harmonic in nature that just kind of feeds through the veil, and it's like boom, you or bloom, I should say, you have rose. And so the same can be found in cosmic frequencies, like every 8 years the sun and Venus will conjunct, and Venus can be, say, objectively observed to make a pattern in the sky that we observe over time, and we can map it out. We call it the star of Venus. And so it's a very interesting study. Now, my latest say intuitions and studies has been on the Ark of the Covenant. And so my intuition, my feeling, my sense tells me that the Ark of the Covenant may be like this, may be an instrument that was created at some point. Some people claim that, it's like a battery, a capacitor that collects energy like a dielectric. And so I understand the physics and the science behind that. But I believe there is a greater existence of the Ark of the Covenant. And I believe that device is between the heart of man and the mind of God. And so I want to take this opportunity with you guys to explain and show, and of course get your input. Comments are greatly appreciated. But what I have found is that, and please, if you could keep your mind open about this, because this is not an arbitrary study of geometry or geometrics, which is earth measurements. It's a study of substantiating things that we wonder about, and I think that it's healthy to keep your mind open. Now, the flat earthers say that the heliocentric system was created to hide God. And so my sense tells me that they are correct. And when I delve into the harmonics and the geometry of the Ark of the Covenant, I find that this to be true. Because in the story where Moses was given the instructions and the dimensions of the Ark, where it's like God said that he would meet Moses at the mercy seat. And so again, I'm finding through harmonic sense and openness, if I can tune my intuitive mind, which is a pre-existing mind, and I am every day, every morning, every evening, I'm attempting to tune into my own pre-existing mind, which sits there with this knowing. And so this is the whole objective of this studies. It's a tuning process. That's what I'm doing. And so I have found in the dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant and with the patterns of the sun and the gematria congruences with what is written in King James Bible, I'm finding that there is a path system, there is a resonance, there is a pathway, and there is a congruence, a pattern of this covenant. And it seems to be a second chance. So if I calculate the base 6 gematria, okay, base 6, resonance, pathway, contract, pattern, covenant, second chance equals 564. And so this is what I call arch mnemonics. It's archetypal resonant chain harmonic or cluster harmonic, where words of similar path resonance systems will cluster and give us a value. Now, and that's much like, stone and kingdom is the same, and is the same as well as sound and of number. So 438 equals kingdom 438, okay? And so sound and number also equal 438. So sound is number and number is sound in terms of its frequency. If we're going to count, the hertz per second. Right? So there is a coherent resonant structure in this system. Now, back to the Ark of Covenant and why the heliocentric system hides the Ark of the Covenant, or it hides the pathway or the resonance between you and God. Because what God said to Moses was, I will meet you at the mercy seat, and there you will find me. So here's what I'm finding. So I've created a study website. It's called sonosgematria.net and sonosgematria.org. Now, so this is where I'm working to create models and lay down the collection of everything that I'm wondering and contemplating about. And so I've created the geometrical system, and I'm finding that as I follow, because what I'm doing is I'm following the sun and the moon on the latitudes of the geo or the geometry in correspondence with time and space. So in correspondence with the 24-hour day or the 86,400 seconds per day, with the revolutions as we observe the sky to complete a cycle a day in 24 hours, or as we complete the 24-hour day with the sun and with the moon monthly. I'm observing that what God said to Moses is true. I will meet you at the mercy seat. So because, and of course, I'm speaking from givenness. I'm speaking from that cue of inner intelligence where it's like, okay, yeah, I know what to do. So mercy is the same value as true. So when I go to that mercy seat, okay? When I go to that mercy seat to see the sun or the moon come on the horizon, I'm following and calculating and taking note. I'm actually, where's my framing square? I'm using ancient techniques, which is, look, it's not complicated. I am measuring declination with the framing square, the same as a navigator would have done with a sextant, because essentially this is a sextant, okay? And it's very primordial in sense of, you've got a foot run, which is a 12 inches, and then you've got rise, and as you rise, then your angle, right, diminishes or ascends. And so I am finding that everything is working out on the resonant path of the covenant, because when I stand at the mercy seat and I face true north, what I am seeing is that the sun is there to meet me when I stand at the north, and I direct myself, and then I'm looking at the map and I'm seeing, okay, so the sun is there, the moon is there, and I kind of point and I look up, and lo and behold, there the sun is or the moon is to meet me. And so a lot of things are coming together in this study and the observation that I would not have found unless I went to this flat earth map. Now, again, keep your mind open, because, you know, if you're a carpenter, and we would not argue to say that the house that you are building or that you are living in is like, you know, a three-dimensional place that you can go walk inside of and observe, you know, space. Yes? However, when you were building that house, you reference a flat plane, a flat plan. And from that plan, you then build your house. Now the house can burn down, the house can fall down, and whatever. That plan will always be the house that always exists in an archetypal sense. So all you have to do is put the materials together and build the house. Now, the plan is like this. And so this plan is a perfect plan to my observations. And so what I have found is the greater Ark of the Covenant is laid out by the Son. So the Son is being the carpenter, and the Son is working on this plan, okay? Now I have found, and it's irrefutable, guys. I have found that the arc dimensions, which is 1.5 by 1.5 by 2.5, is, because geometry is irrefutable. It's the only thing that really you can prove to be true. 90 degrees is true, and the angles that and the distances that it provides is geometrically proven. It's not something that is up for argument. Now, on the circle, and to do with the equator, we're all familiar with the equator, is 0 degrees. So the center of our circle is 90 degrees. The equator is 0 degrees. What the sun does when it goes on the equator, we have the vernal equinox or fall equinox. And this means that we have equal day, equal night. That's what that means. So now I have observed geometrically or earth-metrically that from the center, when the sun goes here, okay, 0 degrees, we have vernal equinox. Then as it goes around here, then it's going to come in, get tighter, and it's going to go to the Tropic of Cancer. This is where we're going to have the longest day in the northern, what I'm going to call the hemisplane. The sun now draws out this parallel. And so my point of saying this is that the 23.4 degrees, what the heliocentrics call the tilt, all right, from true 90, they say that this is a tilt of, right? But you see, in carpenter truth, geometric truth, anything that's out of plumb is not true. So for me, you know, like it is literally not true. It is analogously not true. And it is, well, geometrically, it's not true. So for me, what is true is more this. So I'm going to build something of a coherent, harmonic structure. I'm going to follow a plan that is true. So what I'm looking at here is a true plan. And I sit here at my mercy seat, and I see how the sun draws out these lines right here. It goes to 0 degrees, we have equal day, equal night. That's an equinox. It's an equal agreed covenant. It is a pathway, contract pattern, right? It is what it is. Then it goes to the summer solstice, where it's tight to the north, to the 90 degrees, and we have the longest day of the year. Then it's going to go now to fall equinox, where equal day, equal night. But then after the fall, that sun now is going to go towards the Tropic of Capricorn. All right, so this is Capricorn. Corn tropic, okay? So this is when the sun moves further away from the north, and at the northern hemisphere, we're going to experience winter. Now, this is Christmas right here, okay? When Christmas, the sun passes this point, then it begins to ascend, and then it's going to go again to the vernal equinox, or it's spring. And that's where, right, Aries and Pisces is, okay? And so it's like this. I've heard talk of conspiracy that that the Arctic Circle, which is 66.6 degrees, is conspiracy, and it's supposed to be satanic and whatever. But what the truth is that the sun is actually drawing its light boundary at the 666.6 degree parallel. And so beyond this point of 6.6 degrees, this is where we get the first 24-hour dark, okay? So if you go to the north, you go at this parallel, that's where you're going to experience a full day of darkness. So think of this as the threshold of darkness. So you can imagine, and I want to make a strong point, that these lines, the 66.6 degree parallel and the 23.4 degree parallel, has been mapped out. We have a record of it back to the 1st century. And as far as we know, we have been mapping and accounting and measuring degrees well before that. So there's a lot to be said about, being enlightened to the facts of purpose and function of these numbers. Because I can say to you irrefutably and objectively that the sun is what has laid out the dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant. And it's a resonant pathway, it's an agreement, it's a contract between the sun and man, or between the Son and God, or between the Trinity, between God, Son, and man. And so the mercy becomes true positioning, right? And so the human, it becomes say micro ark made of wood, made of human. Human and wood is the same value, same resonant value as 342. So personally, in my heart, I have a covenant. It is a diagram that was drawn about and upon my heart by God, by the Son, and now, last but not least, by me. So every day, every morning, every evening, every night, I sit and I arrange myself with my, my app, the sonosgematria.net. I am positioning myself to meet God, to meet the Son, and to meet myself by laying myself on that cross, because I am positioning this cross according to true north. And when I observe using this cross or this covenant, I find that the Son is there to meet me. And through the Son, I find God, the source creator of it all, is there to meet me. So I am able to draw myself in to the Holy of Holies. And this is another strong point to make about the Ark of the Covenant. Not only is the dimensions perfect, because, on a map, we measure from the center. We've got 1.5 by 1.5, and then we've got 2.5. So it's 2.5 by 1.5 by 1.5. Right? So by this, we can bring ourselves into the light and bring ourselves over that threshold of darkness to become in an educated awareness and be beyond the myths, the mythologies, and the stories, the lures. We could call the lures the lies. But the lies in this sense are innocent, because what I see is this knowledge was operational knowledge that was necessary for a sailor or navigator to survive and to help a society to proliferate and evolve. So in this, we discovered that there was an arc of resonance, a path of resonance that is the Ark of the Covenant. Look, it's got 4 rings, okay? And the poles, which 2 poles, you can see, look, 1 pole, 2 poles, right? 2 poles that go through 4 rings. You got to look, 1, 2, 3, 4. Arctic Circle ring, Tropic of Cancer ring, Equator ring, and Tropic of Capricorn ring. These are rings created by the sun, so they are golden rings. Now, what I'm saying is that, yes, the flat earthers are right. The heliocentric system creates an impossibility for you to see this, to lay this out. You cannot look through the veil of the heliocentric systems to see the logistics or the logics of where the Ark of the Covenant truly is, and where that resonant pathway, that contract, that pattern, that covenant, that second chance truly is. And so there more to come. Of course, this is an ongoing study. Please come and be a part of this study. You don't need to be a rockets, a physicist. I mean, I'm a simple carpenter. I don't even have a high school education. Look, you need grade 5 level geometry to comprehend this. The trick is to make this cross simple. Make it simple so that you can understand the energy and the power that's in the hand, that's at the hand, with you, God, and the Son. Right? And so there is a lot to come to terms with in the congruency, in the harmonics of the system. I could say, in the Judaic stories or the lures or the lies, they say that the Ark of the Covenant was installed in Solomon's temple in the innermost room. Okay? Look, This is the innermost room of Solomon's temple. Problem is, you see, these stories were created as lure, as lies, to mislead you, to misguide you, to hide it from you, because your relationship with God is a dangerous relationship. I mean, isn't it sad to think that by me uncovering and sharing this information, isn't it sad to think that somebody might take my life for that? But it's true, because my life, if I am sharing such simple information, and that's the power of knowledge. You see, if the church could not hide this from you, you would not need them. You would not need that mediator. You would not need that middleman between you and God, because you have this Ark of the Covenant that's installed by default in your heart, and it's up to you to align it. The Son is aligning it every day perfectly, every year perfectly. God is there waiting for you to come and put yourself at the mercy of God, or at the true north of the Creator. And so, we could go into the teachings of Jesus. Jesus said, seek the kingdom first. The Father, heaven is within. It's all to do with that center. Finding your center, and the orientation of your center has to come through the Ark of the Covenant that is here in the plain, irrefutable geometrics of the earth and sky. And so, before I leave, I just want to clarify, Solomon's temple is the zodiac, because look, Solomon's temple, all right? Solomon was not a man. He was a mind of the sun, Sol, and of the moon, Sol, Om, An is moon, all right? Look, Om, An is moon, okay? So the sun and moon is the mind that is ruler of this temple, is it not? The zodiac. Solomon's temple is 60 by 20 by 30 cubits. If we cube these measurements, we get 6 times 60, 360. That's a circle. 6 times 20 is 12 sections, or 120 degrees. Gives you the key of David, the Star of David, which is Star of Jesus Christ, by the way. Hexagon is Jesus Christ. We'll talk about that in another video. But 6 times 30 is 180. This is, look, 90, 0, 90. 180 degrees. This has to do with the parallels. It has to do with the measurements drawn out by the Sol, Om, An. Okay? So it's very, very logical that you can see this on the flat earth map, but you can't see it on the heliocentric system, where we need NASA's Jack Parsons laboratory, the JPL. All right, we all know that NASA is a satanic church. I mean, it is. It's a church, a very highly organized church, like a step up from the Mormon church. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is, guys. And so when you get inside the temple of the JPL, you are in that satanic organization. And what that satanic organization is an operation to hide the most powerful, the most valuable possession that anybody could have. And that is the resonance pathway, contract, pattern, covenant with God. and that is within you by default, and there it is right there. So in the Sonos Gematria.net, there is a clear model, there's a clear map, there's a Gematria calculator, and there's also mantra practices, sound, number, sound mantras, designed over a course of 10 years. And so, yeah, please like and subscribe. Come be a part of this study, this ongoing work. And yeah, I don't stop. It's my full-time job, actually. It is. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. And see you again.